Don't miss this. It's meant for you. If you knew that life was preparing you for greatness, would you still complain about the discomfort? Would you still resist the silence? Would you question the detours, the delays, the rejections? You see, most men fail to recognize the divine signs hidden inside adversity. They confuse pressure with punishment, solitude with abandonment, and frustration with failure. But I tell you now, success never arrives before its preparation. And preparation never arrives dressed as comfort. The man destined for success must first become worthy of it. He must be stretched, molded, tested, refined, not once but continually. And those who endure this shaping without bitterness, those who remain faithful in the trial, those who choose discipline over drama and patience over panic, these are the men who inherit what others only dream about. What you may call struggle, I call signal. What you see as delay may be the precise instruction you've needed. If you look closely, with the eyes of faith, the mind of discipline, and the spirit of purpose, you'll notice that life leaves clues. And these clues are not random. They are signs that you are being prepared for something greater than your current station. Recognize these signs, and you won't just survive the process, you will master it. The first sign is discontent, a growing dissatisfaction with the ordinary. You begin to notice that what once entertained you now distracts you. What once satisfied you now agitates you. You feel a pull, a friction, a hunger for more. Not more things, but more meaning, more growth, more alignment between who you are and who you were meant to be. This is not midlife confusion. This is purpose whispering through your discomfort. The man with potential can only sit in stillness for so long. Eventually, his vision begins to tug at him. He cannot stay small. He cannot remain hidden. Discontent is not your enemy, it is your invitation. It is the evidence that your soul refuses to stay idle while your future waits for a decision. You are not being punished. You are being summoned. But most men reject this call. They distract themselves with noise. They convince themselves that gratitude should cancel desire. But gratitude is not the enemy of ambition. It is its foundation. True gratitude says, thank you for what is, and now I will rise toward what could be. If you are feeling the weight of dissatisfaction, lean into it. Examine it. Let it speak. Because buried in your restlessness is your next revelation. And no man has ever reached the heights of his purpose without first being made uncomfortable in the shallow waters of ease. The second sign is isolation. This is when you begin to feel cut off from familiar voices, familiar routines, familiar places. Conversations that once gave you joy now feel surface level. Activities that once passed the time now seem wasteful. And though you may try to explain it, others do not understand. You feel the space widening between who you are and who you are becoming. This is not loneliness. This is separation for elevation. You are being pulled aside so that you may see clearly. Life cannot teach you in the crowd what it needs to reveal in the quiet. This is the cave where purpose is birthed, and though it may feel like loss, it is really alignment. You see, not everyone can walk with you to your next level. Preparation demands solitude, because clarity does not shout, it whispers. And you cannot hear the whisper of vision when you are surrounded by the noise of the world. Solitude is your sanctuary. It is in this space that you begin to see yourself not as the world sees you, but as you truly are. And this awareness is essential, for no man can rise beyond what he believes about himself. And most men never pause long enough to hear the truth that lives beneath the surface of busyness. In isolation, you are not being forgotten, you are being focused. The third sign is resistance. Not from others, but from within. Old habits begin to flare up. Old doubts reappear. Your mind becomes restless, distracted. The goals you once believed in now feel distant. The path you were so sure of now seems foggy. This is not regression. This is refinement. Every transformation requires tension. The moment you declare change, the old version of you begins to fight for survival. It pulls you back with comfort, familiarity, excuses. But these are illusions. They are the last cries of the man you are shedding. And you must not answer them. Do not mistake resistance for a reason to stop. Resistance is proof that you're pressing against the limits of your former identity. You are stepping into unfamiliar mental territory. And just like a body grows stronger through resistance, so too does your character. Each time you act in alignment with your higher self, even when it's uncomfortable, you are weakening the hold of your past. You are proving to your subconscious that you no longer answer to fear. And repetition is what turns this into reality. You must persist until resistance fades into obedience. Let your new normal be action, not avoidance. Let your standard be excellence, not excuses. You are not meant to live a life that matches your past. You are meant to construct one that reflects your potential. The fourth sign is exposure. Suddenly, the cracks begin to show. Not to the world, to you. You begin to notice your own patterns. The shortcuts you take, the corners you cut. The moments where your words and your actions no longer align. This is not condemnation, this is confrontation. Life is revealing where the weakness lies, not to destroy you, but to develop you. You cannot build a life of strength on a foundation of silence. You must see what is sabotaging you. And most often it is not what others have done to you, it is what you continue to do to yourself. This exposure is a sacred gift, because a man cannot change what he will not confront. And if you are unwilling to face your inconsistencies, your undisciplined patterns, your fractured self-image, then you will live beneath your potential, no matter how many dreams you chase. But the man who welcomes exposure becomes powerful, because now he is no longer building on illusion. He is building on truth. And truth is the only soil strong enough to hold the weight of greatness. Do not defend your dysfunction. Observe it. Study it. Learn from it. And then eliminate it one behavior at a time, one habit at a time, one thought at a time. Because every action you repeat becomes a vote for the man you will be tomorrow. The fifth sign is testing. These are real-world challenges, delays, rejections, financial pressure, misunderstandings, moments where you're tempted to quit. And these are not accidents, they are audits. Life is testing your seriousness. Are you who you say you are? Or were your words just emotional noise? You said you wanted to be a leader, now the spotlight is off you. Will you still lead? You said you were committed, now the reward is distant. Will you still work? You said you were focused, now the distractions are louder. Will you still choose discipline? These moments are where the inner work becomes visible, not just to others, to you. Because the man who passes these tests gains something more valuable than applause. He gains self-respect. He no longer hopes to be confident. He becomes confident because he has evidence. Evidence that he did not run when it got hard. Evidence that he kept going when it got quiet. Evidence that he honored his word when quitting would have been easy, and no success, no money, no praise can match the power of being able to look yourself in the mirror and know, I can be trusted. And finally, the sixth sign is alignment. You begin to notice that things start to fit, not because life got easier, but because you got clearer. You know what matters. You stop chasing everything. You refine your circle. You operate with precision. You begin to attract, not pursue. The man who is aligned no longer hustles from a place of lack. He moves from a place of purpose. His pace is not frantic, it is focused. He understands that the reward is already his because he has become the version of himself who is ready to carry it. Alignment is not perfection, it is integration. It is the point where your vision, your habits, your standards, and your decisions all begin to agree with each other. There is no longer an inner war, there is order. And from this place, momentum becomes inevitable. You speak with conviction. You act with clarity. You walk with confidence. Because the world outside you has finally matched the man within you. Now that you are aware of these 6 powerful signs: discontent, isolation, resistance, exposure, testing, and alignment, you must do more than just recognize them. You must respond to them with maturity, with decisiveness, and with unwavering belief that you are being refined into the man who is capable of receiving, carrying, and multiplying success. The preparation process does not hand you a certificate. It does not offer a signal of completion. It keeps forming you until your character, your habits, your thinking, your behavior all speak one language. The man you are within and the man you present to the world become one. That is alignment in its purest form. But there is another truth. One few will tell you preparation is not linear. You do not graduate from discomfort and never feel it again. You do not conquer resistance once and never feel it again. You are not exposed once and then live untouched. No. These signs repeat themselves at every level. The difference is how you respond. The mature man begins to recognize them faster and navigate them with greater strength. So let us now move deeper, beyond recognition, into integration. What does it mean to live as a man who knows he is being prepared for success? How must you think, speak, and act? You must first embrace the mindset of process over pressure. The average man breaks under pressure because he is obsessed with outcomes. He watches the scoreboard. He refreshes his goals every hour. And when results delay, he panics, questions, and often quits. But the man who has matured through preparation knows that the true value is in process. He focuses on the controllable, his attitude, his energy, his discipline, his response to difficulty. He detaches his identity from external outcomes and roots it instead in personal consistency. This mindset allows him to remain steady when others crumble. It allows him to keep going when progress is invisible. And that, my friend, is the rarest advantage of all, the ability to keep moving without applause. The process-centered man says, if I do what is right long enough, success will be forced to appear. And he is correct. Because success does not resist discipline, it is attracted to it. Now understand this. Success is never truly about what you gain. It is always about who you become. If you gain wealth but remain mentally undisciplined, you will sabotage your fortune. If you gain followers but lack internal conviction, you will fall under the weight of expectation. If you gain attention without preparation, your rise will be short-lived, your fall inevitable. That is why life does not bless the man too early. It holds back the spotlight. It withholds the breakthrough. Not to punish you, but to protect you from collapsing under something you have not yet built the character to sustain. So, what do you do while you wait? You prepare. You master your emotions. You become consistent in the small, invisible disciplines that no one praises. Waking early, controlling your reactions, finishing what you start, showing up when no one notices. These become your rituals, and through repetition they shape your identity. You must also guard your environment. Preparation demands precision. You cannot rise while surrounding yourself with mediocrity. You cannot grow while entertaining distractions. You cannot sharpen your vision while indulging in noise. Your relationships must evolve. Your conversations must elevate. Your time must be honored. Every hour must count. Not because you're in a rush, but because you stop tolerating waste. The prepared man is not busy, he is strategic. He no longer asks, what's popular? He asks, what's purposeful? He no longer tries to fit in. He builds a life so aligned that he no longer needs validation. Understand this. When you're being prepared for something big, there is a demand on your focus. You cannot move casually toward an extraordinary destiny. You must move with intensity, not stress, intensity. The kind of energy that comes from knowing your steps matter, that your actions are not random. Even when the breakthrough has not yet arrived, you must carry yourself as if it has. Why? Because you are not waiting on the blessing is waiting on you to become the man who can hold it. This is why I urge you to treat your life with the seriousness it deserves. You are not here to survive, you are here to create, to lead, to elevate. And this begins not when the world notices, but when you decide. The next evolution of your life does not begin when someone gives you permission. It begins when you give yourself permission to stop playing small. What does this look like practically? It looks like keeping promises to yourself even when it's inconvenient. It looks like trading late nights for early mornings, entertainment for education, blame for responsibility. It looks like removing the escape hatches, deleting the distractions, replacing instant gratification with long-term vision. It looks like studying your emotions, not reacting from them. It looks like showing up with excellence even when no one is watching. Because that's the paradox. The success everyone will one day see is built in the dark. When no one is looking, you must begin to live in alignment with the future version of you. What does he do each day? What does he avoid? What does he tolerate? What does he read, consume, say yes to, say no to? You may not have his results yet, but you can have his standards. And the more your current behavior reflects your future standard, the faster you collapse the distance between where you are and where you desire to be. Every time you lower your standard to fit your current reality, you delay your preparation. But every time you raise your behavior to match your vision, you accelerate your arrival. This is the truth most avoid, that preparation is not passive. It is intentional, active, and demanding. You must choose growth when comfort is available. You must embrace solitude when noise feels easier. You must finish tasks when the world gives you excuses to quit. You must move with belief when results aren't visible yet. And you must stay rooted in principle when emotion begs you to drift. That is what separates those who get close from those who arrive. Let us talk now about the most sacred part of preparation, the forming of identity. Success is not just something you get, it is something you hold. And what allows you to hold it is who you believe you are. The man who still sees himself as uncertain, as inferior, as unworthy, will always sabotage what he gains. Not because he is incapable, but because his identity refuses to accept what his actions have achieved. This is why inner work is essential. You must become the man who says, I deserve this, not with ego, but with evidence. You must look at your disciplines, your decisions, your sacrifices, and say with clarity, I have earned this future. That is when self-doubt loses its grip. That is when you stop asking, can I do this? And begin declaring, this is who I am. Because success is not an achievement, it is a reflection of your identity, your patterns, your preparation. And identity is not formed by theory, it is formed by repetition. Every time you keep your word, your confidence grows. Every time you face discomfort and push through, your self-respect deepens. Every time you silence the voice of doubt and act anyway, your belief compounds. This is why you must fall in love with repetition. Not because it's glamorous, but because it's transformational. If you can do the right thing 1,000 times with no audience, you will be the man who deserves the spotlight when it finally arrives. Let me say this now, as plainly and powerfully as I can. If you are in a season of pressure, it is because you are in a season of preparation. The pressure is not a mistake, it is your maker. It is building what comfort could never build. It is forming in you a depth, a focus, a sharpness, a strength that will one day separate you from the rest. You will not need to market it. You will not need to force it. You will not need to beg for it, because when you are truly prepared, success becomes inevitable. Your life begins to echo the principle, as within, so without. And your external reality simply matches the internal man you have become. The man who understands the value of preparation no longer wastes his waiting. He does not sit idle, hoping for breakthrough. He becomes a builder, a craftsman of the unseen. He understands that long before results arrive, he must first become the vessel capable of receiving and carrying the very success he envisions. And now that you have walked through discontent, isolation, resistance, exposure, testing, and alignment, not just as ideas but as lived experiences, you must take the final leap. From awareness to ownership. Owning your path means you no longer question the signs. You cooperate with them. You no longer delay the work. You embody it. And once you make that shift, the world around you begins to move. Not because life suddenly changed, but because you did. Let me remind you, nothing in life improves permanently until you do. Success is not a gift, it is a mirror. It reflects what you've practiced. It reflects what you've prioritized. It reflects who you've decided to become each day, when no one was looking, when applause was silent, and when quitting felt easier than pressing on. Preparation, then, is the most sacred part of your journey, because it is the place where no one sees you, but everything about you is being sculpted. In this place, your voice becomes clearer. Your values become unshakable. Your standards become uncompromising. And most importantly, your vision becomes undeniable. If you want to change your world, begin with how you show up in this quiet season, because this is the season that defines your character. This is the place where your future is being written. Every thought you conquer, every excuse you silence, every small win you repeat, this is the invisible ink of destiny. Let us now talk about how to live going forward. First, you must establish non-negotiables. These are the actions, behaviors, and principles that you will honor no matter what. They are not optional. They are not emotional. They are your minimum standard. For the man in preparation, non-negotiables become anchors. While others drift, he stays grounded. While others procrastinate, he executes. While others compromise, he upholds. And this consistency compounds into confidence. Create these anchors intentionally. Choose your morning routine. Choose your top priorities. Choose your learning commitments. Choose your health disciplines. Choose your financial boundaries. And protect them with the same intensity as you would guard a treasure, because that's exactly what they are. They are your edge. Next, you must remove what no longer serves you. Success does not just require addition, it demands subtraction. The next version of you is not just more, it is less distracted, less reactive, less divided. Audit your environment, audit your habits, audit your associations. If anything in your life is pulling you away from your vision, it must be addressed. Not later, now. Why such urgency? Because the cost of delay is not just time, it is momentum. And without momentum, purpose dies quietly. Without momentum, you begin to question what was once clear. Without momentum, your doubts grow stronger than your disciplines. And so you must move with clarity, with courage, with decision. Let go of what drains your focus. Say no to what flattens your energy. Walk away from what shrinks your belief. There is no room in your future for half effort, half presence, half commitment. You are either all in or you are not in at all. You must also cultivate a new kind of patience. Not passive patience, not wishful waiting, but active patience, the kind that continues building even when the results seem distant. Understand this. A tree does not sprout the moment the seed hits the soil, But the seed is not failing, it is forming. Likewise, your work is not wasted. Your silence is not a curse. Your delay is not denial. If you are acting in alignment, if you are moving with intention, then trust you are growing. And when that growth finally breaches the surface, it will look like sudden success. But it will not be sudden to you, because you'll remember the dark days, the silent mornings, the resisted temptations, the steady progress, the choices that built your roots. This is what real success feels like, not just external reward, but internal reward. The deep, soul-level knowing that says, I did not fake this, I forged this. And that knowing is more valuable than any dollar, applause, or title. Let me also say this. Do not fear being overlooked. Do not resent being underestimated. Let others sleep on your potential. That is your advantage. You are building in silence. You are stacking wins while others seek attention. And by the time they notice you, it will be too late to catch you. You are not behind. You are becoming. You are not late. You are learning. You are not forgotten. You are being fortified. And this fortification is what will allow you to sustain the very success others will crumble under. Because success without preparation is a setup for collapse. But success born from preparation is a fortress no storm can destroy. Now, as you move forward, you must train yourself to think different. You must no longer ask, when will I get there? Instead, ask, who must I become to belong there? You must no longer say, why is this so hard? Instead, say, what is this difficulty building in me? You must no longer wait for permission. You must live with decision. This is the thinking that separates the prepared from the distracted. This is the mindset of the uncommon man, the one who outlasts, outfocuses, and outgrows every limitation placed on him. And the best part, this power is available to you now. It is not waiting in a seminar. It is not hidden in a course. It is not locked in a mentor. It is inside you. It is the voice that says, enough waiting, enough drifting, enough settling. It is the voice that says, I am ready. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. So now, let this be your new foundation. You no longer fear pressure, you welcome it because it makes you precise. You no longer avoid solitude, you seek it because it sharpens your hearing. You no longer run from resistance, you chase it because it builds your identity. You no longer resent exposure, you invite it because it refines your integrity. You no longer dread testing, you endure it because it proves your preparation. And you no longer question alignment, you live in it because now your values, your habits, your direction, and your results all speak the same truth. This is what it means to be prepared for success. Not to arrive perfect, but to arrive ready. You now walk with a calm authority. Not because everything is figured out, but because you know that whatever comes, you are equipped to handle it. You no longer carry desperation, you carry evidence. Evidence of the man you've become. Evidence of the work you've done. Evidence of the wins you've stacked in silence. Evidence of the disciplines you've maintained without applause. And that evidence creates a gravity. It pulls the right people, the right opportunities, the right favor. Not by accident, by design. Because success does not chase the unprepared. It bows to the man who is. So stand tall in your process. Speak boldly of your vision. Live faithfully in your standard. You are not faking this. You are not forcing this. You are becoming this. Let the world be confused by your confidence. Let them wonder how you carry such certainty. And when they ask, you won't need to explain. Your results will speak. Your presence will speak. Your consistency will speak. And your story, every battle, every delay, every lonely morning will be the proof. that you were not lucky. You were ready because you saw the signs. You followed the path. You paid the price. And you never stopped preparing, even when no one was watching. And that is why you will not only reach success, you will own it. Not just for a season, but for a lifetime, because it was never just about achieving. It was always about becoming.